I'm Billy Wimsatt. I'm the executive director, the proud executive director of Movement Voter Saved Project. Us. We're so grateful to you all, leaders in Georgia, and everyone who you're connected to, who surprised, who shocked the world. You knew you could do it, but we were all like, oh my God, you actually did it. And you're getting ready to do it again.
We're a power building organization, right? We believe in building power in Black communities. And one of the things we always say is that elections are one way of doing that, but it's not the only way of doing that. And so that's fundamental to our approach, because the way that we go about doing the work that we do is by partnering with local groups. We believe in the power of local infrastructure.
Our model is, who is on the front line? There's always infrastructure in a community, always. You know, even when you look at the time in terms of an enslavement of Africans in this country, there was always a way to move information in spite of slavery. There was always a way of moving food and resources in spite of slavery, right? And so there's always an infrastructure that exists in the community. It doesn't matter where that community is. The goal is, if you tap into that power base.
Doing our work, and we do it with groups that sometimes look a little bit different. Like sometimes it's an NAACP chapter, sometimes it's a church, sometimes it's a fraternity or a sorority, sometimes it's a youth group, a senior citizens group, a group that's focusing on healthcare, or maybe a group that's focusing on police violence. The commonality is that they have to have authentic relationships in our community, and they have to have a deep interest in building power in our communities. As long as they have those prerequisites, we ready to get down with them.
And so that's why our model, even in this last election cycle, we were able to support over 600 Black-led grassroots groups in the spectrum of which Cliff raised. In Georgia alone, we worked in over 50 counties, that we were very intentional from the beginning around working in the Black Belt, that there had to be a connection of the urban and the rural connection. That there were urban centers that we are in, and so you've got to be there, but you also have folks that have been pushed out of many of these cities and are living in the suburban areas, or even have selected or to live in rural areas, or areas that are considered rural areas. So what happens when you're making that connectivity, when you're building out the ecosystem? And so that's what our work is rooted in. That's what the work has been rooted in Georgia.
In the Deep South, that there are experienced organizers, sophisticated organizers who understand what it takes to have progressive wins and then defend those wins beyond one election cycle. And so we welcome all the support, we welcome all the help, all the love, and we want people to know that the South has something to say, and we have, again, organizers who have been building infrastructure that has prepared us to meet this moment.
And it's important who the message comes from. For example, I always say this, that we can look, the three of us you can put us down and watch TV. We can tell you an ad for Georgia that was made by somebody that doesn't live in Georgia, right? We can tell by the setup of the conversation. We can tell by the drawl, the way they say y'all. We be like, they from the South, right?
So what we saw here in Georgia wasn't even just about the top of the ticket. We saw that victory. We've seen sheriff victories. We've seen Black women become district attorneys. We've seen victories all up and down the ballot, because folks who were building power through one form of energy and protest were able to shift that and merge it with an electoral strategy. And that's how we got the wins that we got all up and down the ballot in Georgia.